I live in Nashville, and I travel a lot of hotels. Every hotel I go in, I ask if they have a gym. Like, I'm like, you guys got a gym? I don't even have clothes to work out in. And it's just because other people are standing there, so I like to ask. I don't work out. I don't know if I have to say it. I'm lazy. I realized how lazy I was. I was watching a football game once, and I'm sitting on my couch, and I was gonna get something to drink out of the refrigerator. And right when I get up to go get something to drink, one team kicked off to the other team. And before I could get back, the guy ran a 100-yard kickoff return, and I missed it. That guy ran 100 yards before I could get 3 to maybe 4 yards. He also had 11 people really trying not to let him run 100 yards. I don't even have an ottoman. It was wide open. Couldn't make it. I did play sports growing up, though. I tried to play basketball for my high school, but I got cut every year. So I had to play for my church, because the church cannot cut you. They have to let you play. Or maybe they could cut you, I don't know. You'd be pretty bad if they're like, look, we think you're good, but Jesus does not think you're that good. And he is our captain. I played baseball too. When I was 13, I was playing baseball, and one time I was up to bat, and I get walked. So I take my base, I get to first base, and I turned around, and the catcher was still standing there, and he was holding the ball. And he's like staring at me, like he was like daring me to run. Like he was like, just go, I bet you can't make it. And I was like, all right, man, I'm gonna go. So I just ran. When I ran, he threw it over through second base. Ball goes in the outfield. So then I run to third base. The outfield grabs the ball. They overthrow third base. My third base coach is telling me to go home. This is about to be an inside the park home run off a walk. I'm gonna be on SportsCenter. This is the biggest thing that's ever happened in baseball. And I slide. There's a play at the plate. And that's when the umpire tells us that it was only ball 3. I swear. It's a true story. So we all have to get up. I'm like dirty for no reason. I gotta go get my bat. It's right where I left it. I gotta just drag it. I gotta bat again. It's 3 balls, 2 strikes. Next pitch, immediately strike out. I'm exhausted and over baseball. And I just looked at the ump and he was like, you can go now. Here's what I learned though that day. I learned that if you're confident, you can get away with quite a bit. Because no one tried to stop me, and they should have, They knew I wasn't supposed to go. That's why the catcher was holding the ball, because he was like, I don't think he's supposed to be going yet, right? And then I just ran to second. He's like, I guess I'm wrong. No one's that dumb, And then he just launches it into the outfield, who's barely paying attention. They think it's a hit, and the umpire figures it out, but it's just easier to let me get all the way back to him, Let me feel what it would feel like. You know what's great too? No one ever told the parents. They never explained it to them. They were cheering. It's a pretty exciting play to watch. And then they just see me slide into home and then just stand up and bat again. And they just are like, is that just a rule in baseball? I don't even know. All right, thank you guys so much.
I remember I would fall out of a bunk bed. I slept in a bunk bed. I was on the top bunk, and I would get over a railing and just fall 6 feet to the ground and just land. I mean, you don't catch yourself. It's just whatever hits first. All your body weight just lands on your head. I got a full-blown concussion. I'm crying. My parents are like, just go back to a deep sleep for 7 hours. I've had 3 concussions in my life, and none of them because of sports. Just living life, man, Stuff happens to your head. What are you gonna do? One was in high school. I got pushed into a wall head first, and it took them 3 class periods to figure out I had a concussion. That's how much I was bringing to the table. I mean, 2 teachers didn't even notice, and the third one was like, he wasn't facing forward, and that's when I realized he's one of the better facer forwards I've ever had. So I knew. My biggest concussion was when I was 12 years old. I fell down a cliff. So I grew up in Old Hickory, Tennessee, and we used to climb down this cliff into Old Hickory Lake, and we'd done it a ton of times. And so one day I slip and fall. So my friend that I'm with, he goes and gets my mom. There was a guy fishing in a boat down in the lake, and so he sees me and he gets me into the boat. And then he takes me over to some stairs, which he had to be like, why didn't he just use these stairs? I mean, they were right next to that cliff. Like, it didn't even make sense. There was two guys at the bottom of the steps, and he goes, hey, this kid fell. Can you carry him up? So they carry me up, and my mom's in an ambulance in her pajamas. My dad, who I think everybody knows now is a magician, and he's doing a show in a full tuxedo. So when they get to the hospital, the doctor starts talking to my parents. I mean, my mom looks homeless. My dad's in a tuxedo. It looks like they're divorced and someone's not paying child support. The best wedding I've ever been to was my cousin's wedding. It was a real redneck affair. It was right outside Louisville, Kentucky, where my parents are from. And my cousin's name is Tuesday, which is a good start. The invitation said, Tuesday's getting married, rehearsals Friday, wedding Saturday. People were like, we gotta be there Monday for this wedding? How long is this wedding? It's a week? We get there, I'm wearing a button-down shirt, khaki pants, nothing crazy. I'm wildly overdressed. I look like I work there. Everybody else just has a football or basketball jersey on. My uncle, his daughters get married. He has his tuxedo jacket, pants, cummerbund, bow tie, no shirt. They forgot his shirt, and instead of waiting to go get it, he was like, let's do it without it, right? Like that's... And he doesn't have a body that's like, that's cool, man. You know, he has a body that you're like, put your jacket on backwards, flip it around. Yeah. And then you see his back, and you're like, whew, all right, go back the regular way. Yeah, that's my fault. How's your back worse than your front? We go into the church. It's bride and groom. Looks like it's home and away. That's how many jerseys are in there. Guys are drinking beers in the church. Like, that's something I've never heard a pastor be like, guys, could we not drink alcohol in the church? And they're like, oh, didn't know this was the nice part of town. All right. The reception is next door, just at a lady's house, like in her backyard. Like it isn't like she's like, and I do receptions all the time. We were her one and only reception. So we walk over. They took a horse and buggy. The horse was the oldest horse I've ever seen. I thought it was a donkey. I thought they got a deal on a donkey. And the guy was like, this horse was in the Kentucky Derby. Like the first one that they did? Is that Secretariat's father? How old is this horse, man? You know they lay down, right? So we walked. It took them 45 minutes. They went up a driveway and back down the next driveway. They're sweating, almost divorced by the time they get there. The reception, like I said, it's in her backyard. They put plywood on the grass, like side by side, to make a dance floor. We danced just to a radio station on a boombox. Just like 104.5. You would have to stop for weather and traffic updates. There was a punch bowl that was low to the ground, like on a low table. And so I was giving it to kids. I was trying to help out. And then someone was like, that's wine. And I gave it to so many kids. I don't know anything about wine, but I don't think they tell you to pour it into a bowl. Like, that's not... No one's ever like, let's get out of that box, get in a bowl. You know, let's let it breathe a little bit. I got a couple 9-year-olds pretty loose that night.
I go to church growing up. I grew up in Tennessee, and we went to church. I tried to play basketball for my high school team, but I got cut. So I had to play for my church because the church cannot cut you. They have to let you play. They could cut you. You'd be pretty bad if they're like, look, we think you're good, but Jesus does not think you're that good. He is our captain. So... Church ball was a lot different because we played half court, no three-point line. We played on carpet. That's your first sign. It's not going to count. And they didn't even give us a basketball. We didn't have a basketball. We would just stand there and play on honesty. You'd be like, I just made it. It was like, oh, that's a good shot. You're really good. I stole it. I forgive you for stealing it. It was moral points. Counts later. Are y'all gonna go watch the Nathan's hot dog eating contest? Did everybody get their tickets for that? It's exciting. I think it's free anyway, but I remember the first time I saw the hot dog eating contest. The first time I saw it, you would see a lot of skinny people, and then they would show like a huge fat guy. So I was like, all right, you know, obviously he's gonna win. He probably ate on the way here. But he does not win. Kobayashi or Joey Chestnut, two very in-shape guys. So that means fat people are not even good at what they're good at. Who would have thought? Huh? Who would have? I'm married, and that is whatever, but you do it. You know what marriage is like? Marriage is like, you ever go to a concert and you see a mosh pit, and you're like, you know what, I'm gonna go get in that mosh pit. But then once you get in it, you're like, I do not want to be in this mosh pit. At all. I am gonna leave and go get some beer, then the mosh pit's like, hey, you drank last night. You're like, all right, mosh pit, why don't you get off my back and let me live my life. I've been in Iraq 3 times. Twice we did comedy for the troops. The 3rd time was vacation. The 3rd time, I just wanted to see it. And it is nice. They have one tree. It's gorgeous. So you wait in line for that, and then you fight your way back to the plane. So it's like a hiking trip of sorts. When we did comedy for the troops, we'd go over there, and they would have a lot of like small bases. They only have like 40 troops at these bases. So they would have like a lot of makeshift stuff for these guys, like their bathrooms. They had pipes dug in the ground, and that's what they would pee into. And then if they did the other, they had a bag. They called it a wag bag. So it was very awkward. Like I went up to a soldier, I go, where's your restroom at? And he was like, you gotta go number 1 or number 2. It's like, well, I don't really see how that's your business. And to be honest, I might mix it up. So why don't you let me decide, all right? We have barely made eye contact. I got to go to Bahrain, too, which I learned was a country when I got there. I thought it was the guy we were meeting, and it was... When you go to Bahrain, you go and you stay on an army base, but there you can actually leave the base and go out to the city. So they tell you, they're like, look, if you go out there, it's safe, just don't draw attention to yourself. So they were like, don't wear American t-shirts. And I was like, all right, like that's fine, no American t-shirts. So what are you gonna do about the white on my skin? That's gonna be more of a problem. I don't want him to come up to me like, excuse me, are you Muslim? Southern Muslim, actually.